Dregs, the Leafs have hired a search firm to help find their new head of hockey ops. Kind of an interesting choice. Who'd they hire and what's next?
Well, this gentleman's name is Neil Glasberg of the Coaches Agency, and anybody who's familiar with the hiring of general managers and to some degree NHL coaches will know Glasberg's name. Yes, he has been retained by the Toronto Maple Leafs to assist in their process, effectively, Gino, managing the search. Now, undoubtedly, Keith Pelley and the Toronto Maple Leafs brass will have their own list of candidates that they want to interview. But sure, Glasberg and the Coaches Agency are also going to submit some names that they think should be considered for the vacancy of the head of hockey operations for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
A quiet move inside the Toronto Maple Leafs just changed everything behind the scenes. No big press conference, no loud announcement. But a powerful decision has now pulled outside forces into one of the most important roles in hockey operations. Names are being studied, control is being tested, and what's happening next is not as simple as it looks. The Toronto Maple Leafs have taken a direct step in their search for a new head of hockey operations. The organization confirmed that it has hired the Coaches Agency to assist with the process. This move brings in outside support during a time when the team is evaluating leadership at the highest level, but the details of that support reveal a more structured approach. The key figure involved is Neil Glasberg. He's now working with the organization to help manage the search. His role is not to make decisions. Instead, he supports the process by reviewing candidates and helping organize the evaluation steps. This adds another layer to how the Maple Leafs are handling this hiring process, and it changes how candidates are being reviewed internally. According to reports, this role is clearly defined. He has been retained by the Toronto Maple Leafs to assist in their process, effectively managing the search. This confirms that the agency is part of the structure, but not the final authority. The organization remains in control of the outcome, and that distinction is central to understanding what is happening. Final authority remains with Keith Pelley and the Maple Leafs leadership group. It has been clearly stated that that will be up to Pelley and the Toronto Maple Leafs and not Neil Glasberg and the Coaches Agency. This confirms that the decision-making power has not shifted outside the organization. The agency provides guidance, but control remains inside the team's leadership. The purpose of hiring the agency is focused on deeper evaluation. It has been explained that Glasberg has been hired to bring in added value, do some deeper investigating, find out which candidate is the best fit. This means candidates are being reviewed based on detailed criteria. Their past decisions, leadership styles, and ability to fit into the organization are all being examined closely. At the same time, the Maple Leafs already have their own list of candidates. The agency is expected to add more names to that list. This means the pool of candidates could expand during the process. New options may appear as the search continues, and that adds more uncertainty to who could eventually be selected. Inside the organization, existing executives are already familiar with team operations. They understand the structure, the players, and the current system. This makes them easier to evaluate because their work is already visible. At the same time, external candidates bring different experience. Many have worked with other NHL teams and have handled major decisions before. This creates a contrast between continuity and change, and that difference is now part of the selection process. The role being filled carries full control over hockey decisions. This includes roster moves, staff direction, and long-term planning. Because of this, the evaluation process is focused on leadership ability and decision-making history. The agency is helping review these factors in detail. Each candidate is being studied based on past performance and how they handled pressure situations, and that level of review is shaping the final stages of the search. The involvement of the Coaches Agency also introduces new candidate possibilities. The organization already has its own list, but the agency may recommend additional names. These could include individuals who are not currently being discussed publicly. This expands the process beyond what is visible, and it adds uncertainty to the final outcome as new names can enter at any stage. At the same time, meetings between Neil Glasberg and Keith Pelley are expected to define the next steps. These meetings will focus on how interviews are conducted and how candidates are ranked. This stage is important because it moves the process from planning into direct evaluation, and it brings the organization closer to a decision. League rules continue to play a role in how the search moves forward. If a candidate is currently working with another NHL team, the Maple Leafs must request permission before speaking with them. This step is required and cannot be handled by the agency. It must come directly from the organization. This affects the speed of the process and can delay certain interviews, especially if multiple teams are interested in the same candidate. This situation is also part of a wider pattern across the league. Other teams are searching for new leadership as well. This creates overlap in candidate interest. Some executives may be considered by more than one team at the same time. This increases competition and adds pressure to make timely decisions, and that pressure continues to build as the search progresses. The Maple Leafs have not confirmed a final timeline for the hiring decision. However, the structure is now clear. External support is in place. Internal leadership holds authority. Candidate evaluation is active. Meetings are scheduled. The process is moving forward step by step, but the final selection remains open and the outcome is still not decided.
Mitch Marner's first hat trick with Vegas came in John Tortorella's second game behind the bench. Some feared how the hiring would impact Marner, but Frankie, do you think Tortorella is going to be a good thing for him?
I do believe this can be a good thing for Mitch Marner because you know what John Tortorella likes? He likes good players. He likes skilled players. He likes guys that are versatile. And Mitch Marner does all of that.
Everything stopped in the middle of the game. The ice broke, players walked off, and momentum disappeared in seconds. But when play came back, one player did not just return. He took over completely. Goals, assists, total control. And with this marked his 4th career hat trick and his 6th career 5-point performance. It was also his first hat trick since joining Vegas, placing immediate attention on his role within the team structure. This reports before the game showed the team ranking near the bottom of the league in shooting percentage after the Olympic break. The issue was not chance creation, but finishing. In this game, that pattern changed. Vegas converted scoring opportunities at a higher rate, especially in the final period, and Marner was directly involved in those sequences. Discussion around coaching decisions had already indicated a change in approach. Analysts described a system built to favor skilled and versatile players. One statement explained, he likes good players, he likes skilled players, he likes guys. Structure. Further commentary focused on deployment. He is going to ride his best players. This indicated that top players would receive increased ice time across different situations. In this game, Marner's presence was constant in offensive. Sequence. Another statement added context to roster composition. This is a tool at his disposal that he has not had in quite some time in the NHL. This referred to the availability of a player capable of producing at a high level across multiple areas of play. The 5-point output provided measurable evidence of that capability. The game also included an unusual interruption. During the 3rd period, play was stopped due to damage to the ice surface, forcing a delay of more than 20 minutes. This created a separation in game flow. The score was tied at 3-3 before the stoppage, with both teams matching each other across 2 periods. The reaction after the game focused on what this performance revealed about the direction of the Vegas Golden Knights rather than just the result itself. Analysts connected Marner's output to a broader shift in how the team is expected to function going forward. The discussion also moved toward how other teams may view this development. Projections had already suggested a possible playoff matchup involving Vegas and the Edmonton Oilers. Analysts pointed to the risk of facing a team that had not yet reached its full scoring potential. One statement explained, "What you would fear is that everything just clicks." This referred to the combination of improved finishing and stable system execution. Before this game, Vegas had shown consistency in defensive structure and penalty killing. However, their scoring efficiency had limited results. The 5-goal involvement from Marner in this game provided a clear example of how that limitation could change when execution improves. The game also highlighted how quickly outcomes can shift under new conditions. The delay caused by ice damage created a break in momentum. The score was tied before the stoppage, with both teams evenly matched. After play resumed, Vegas controlled the pace and converted scoring chances without response from the Calgary Flames. Shea Theodore registered 2 assists, maintaining puck movement during key sequences. Carter Hart returned in goal and made 19 saves, providing stability during the early phases of the game. Standings were also affected by the result. Vegas moved closer to the top position in the Pacific Division. Reports indicated the team remained within a small margin of the division leader, increasing the importance of each remaining game. This placed additional weight on performances that directly influence scoring outcomes. The sequence of events in this game combined multiple elements: a tied score entering the third period, a prolonged delay due to ice conditions, and a rapid scoring shift after play resumed. System changes, while also reflecting a measurable increase in scoring efficiency within a single game.
Yeah, we felt going into the deadline we had enough offense. Obviously, that's driven by McDavid and Draisaitl, but we felt other guys can contribute also. And offense generation wasn't an issue for us, whether it's creating chances or scoring goals. And what it was is we wanted to get better defensively, and we have gotten better defensively. A lot of it on emphasis on what we can do with our systems.
Something big is happening inside the Edmonton Oilers, and it's not just goals or highlights. Connor McDavid is doing something on the ice that is turning heads across the NHL, and it directly involves Leon Draisaitl. The same play keeps repeating, the same result keeps coming, and teams still cannot stop it. But what this really means is just starting to surface. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl continue to lead the Edmonton Oilers offense during the final stretch of the NHL season. Both players are among the top scorers in the league, and their production has remained steady across recent games. Their combined points account for a large share of the team's total scoring, and this pattern has been consistent in multiple matchups, but the way those points are created has drawn even more attention. Recent games show a repeated offensive structure. McDavid carries the puck with speed through the neutral zone and enters the offensive zone with control. He shifts laterally, pulling defenders toward him. At the same time, Draisaitl positions himself near the face-off circle or weak side lane. The play often ends with a cross-ice pass from McDavid, followed by a one-timer shot from Draisaitl. This sequence has produced several goals and has been used again and again, but teams have struggled to stop it. On the power play, this connection becomes even more clear. Edmonton's power play unit ranks among the most effective in the league. McDavid controls the puck near the half wall, directing movement and waiting for the right moment. Draisaitl sets up in his usual spot, ready for a quick shot. The puck moves quickly between players, then reaches Draisaitl for a direct attempt on goal. Despite defensive pressure, this setup continues to generate scoring chances, and the results have remained strong. After one of these games, McDavid spoke about the team's approach. He said, "We know what works for us, and we keep going back to it." This statement reflects the Oilers' reliance on their established system. The team does not change its core strategy often. Instead, it repeats what produces results, especially when both McDavid and Draisaitl are involved in the same play. Statistical trends support this approach. When both players record multiple points in a game, the Oilers have a much higher chance of winning. In games where they are limited, the team's scoring drops. This link between their performance and team success has been visible throughout the season, and it continues to shape how opponents prepare for Edmonton. When the Oilers need offense, the puck often moves through McDavid first, and the final shot frequently comes from Draisaitl. But this pattern has created a clear focal point for opponents. Game footage from recent matchups shows how quickly these plays develop. McDavid accelerates through defenders, often carrying the puck across the blue line with control. As defenders shift toward him, space opens on the opposite side. Draisaitl reads this movement and adjusts his position. The pass comes fast, and the shot follows immediately. These plays take only a few seconds to complete, leaving little time for defenders to react, but teams continue to study this setup closely. In one recent performance, McDavid recorded multiple assists, with each one connecting directly to Draisaitl. The scoring plays followed nearly identical patterns. Analysts reviewing the game noted that defenders were aware of the setup, but could not close the gap in time. The execution remained precise, and the timing between both players stayed consistent. This repetition has made their connection one of the most effective offensive tools in the league. Draisaitl also addressed the team's approach during media coverage. He said, "We just try to keep it simple and play our game." This statement reflects how the Oilers maintain their structure. They do not rely on complex systems in these moments. Instead, they focus on speed, positioning, and timing between their top players. But the situation becomes more intense as the season moves forward. Advanced metrics provide further detail. Both players rank high in expected goals and high danger scoring chances. These numbers show that their opportunities are not only frequent, but also effective. McDavid's role in creating chances remains central. He controls zone entries and distributes the puck. Draisaitl's role as a finisher allows him to convert those chances at a high rate. This balance between playmaking and finishing continues to drive the Oilers' offense. Coaching decisions also reflect this dependence. McDavid and Draisaitl are often deployed together during critical moments, including power plays and late-game situations. Their ice time remains high compared to other players on the roster. This usage pattern shows how much the team depends on their production, especially when games become close. Opponents have adjusted their defensive strategies, focusing more attention on limiting space and reducing passing lanes. However, even with these adjustments, both players continue to generate scoring chances. The speed of execution and accuracy of passing remain difficult to counter. As playoff positioning becomes more important, this connection between McDavid and Draisaitl continues to shape the Oilers' performance, and the pressure around this duo keeps growing with every game played.
You're just about to send your team out onto the ice, and you've got to tell them your boss just got fired. Good luck with that. That situation Craig Berube found himself in last night. To talk about it, here's the coach, Bruce Boudreau. Bruce, you went through a similar scenario in the past. What's that like?
Well, it's not a lot of fun, I can tell you that, and both for the coach and for the players, because A, you don't want to distract them from the game, but B, you start to think, okay, he was my guy. He was the guy I was hanging on to. If he's gone, what's my situation?
Shockwaves hit the Toronto Maple Leafs after a sudden front office move, and within hours, attention shifted straight to the bench. Pressure started building around Craig Berube as reports linked past NHL patterns to what could happen next. Nothing has been confirmed, but the silence from management is raising serious concern, and the situation is still unfolding. The focus around Craig Berube intensified immediately after the management change inside the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. In the NHL, when a general manager leaves or is removed, attention often shifts toward the head coach. This pattern has been observed in multiple teams over recent seasons. The Maple Leafs situation now follows that same structure, and it has placed Berube under direct scrutiny. Recent team performance added to this pressure. The Maple Leafs have recorded mixed results in their last few games. In one match, they secured a 2-1 overtime win against the Anaheim Ducks. Reuters reported, John Tavares nets OT winner, Maple Leafs down Ducks. That result showed the team's ability to close tight games, but it did not remove concerns about consistency. In another game, the Leafs faced a heavy loss against the St. Louis Blues. Reuters stated, Blues stay hot, crush Maple Leafs. The team conceded 6 goals in that match. Defensive breakdowns were visible early in the game. The Blues maintained control throughout, and the Leafs were unable to recover. This result increased discussion around team structure and in-game adjustments. As these results came in, media coverage across Canada began focusing on coaching decisions. Analysts pointed to defensive organization and game management. The combination of a close win and a heavy loss created a mixed performance pattern. This inconsistency became a key topic in discussions about the team's direction. Craig Berube addressed the situation in a recent interview. According to Sportsnet, he said, "It's been my life." The statement referred to his long career in hockey. He acknowledged the uncertainty around his position. Reports noted that he is aware of the pressure but continues to focus on his role. His comments did not indicate any change in status, but they reflected the ongoing situation. The situation around Craig Berube did not slow down